And here we go. Hello, Meesha Millington. Welcome to your small business podcast. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Yes, thank you, Janice. It's a pleasure to be here.
Yes, thank you. So of course, we got to start off with you telling everyone who you are, what you do, and how your entrepreneur has journey has got you to where you are today.
Okay, well, I am Meesha Millington, and the simplest, I guess, definition of who I am is I'm a creative. And so I am an actress, a singer, dancer. I am a business owner, creative director, educator, but it's all related. It's all relative to what I do. I actually started my business after 7 year, seven, no, several years of working as a professional artist, and I just saw a need in my community, and I was excited to fill it. When I first started my business, the Gloria Eve Performing Arts Foundation, I didn't go into entrepreneurship like thinking, okay, well, I'm going to start this business and this is the bottom line. I was actually approached to help the village create a dance program based upon my knowledge. And I was like, happy to assist. I was still auditioning and working in the industry. And after the first year, I fell so far in love with it and the advancement of my students and the excitement in their eyes and then of course in love with them and their families that I made the decision to keep going. So it's definitely part of my journey and purpose to become an entrepreneur.
That's awesome. That's excellent, especially to go for something that you love and that you it's like it's just blossoming. It's like what
Yes,
I'm trying to say. So blossoming. So you own it's called Gloria Eve. It's a dancing studio, correct?
it's a performing arts school, so we do dance, theater, and music.
That is awesome. So where did you get the name Gloria Eve from?
Okay, so I studied at Gloria Jackson Dance Studio from the time that I was 5 years old all the way till when I started college, about 18. And the owner was named Gloria Jackson, and she was like a grandmother to me. She once she found out I was a student, she loved all her students, but once she found out I could sing, she was dragging me all over New York, performing at any event. So I'd be dancing with my division, but then she had me sing and my mom, of course, was like a working mom. She's like, well, I can't get her there. She's like, don't worry, I'll pick her up, drop her off. I'm in the back of the car with the poodle and with the poodle. And of course, she stopped at like McDonald's on the way home. So she really was like a grandmother to me. But she was very encouraging. She was very vibrant, and she also included me in so many wonderful opportunities. She would always submit my name for things like Fordham University had a youth dance scholarship. So by when I was 12, I received that. And she just always celebrated my accomplishments. I mean, she came to my Sweet 16. She really was like part of the family. When I was in my third year of college, I found out that she passed away from cancer.
Oh,
And none of us knew. I'm sure that maybe some of our teachers knew, and some people knew, but as far as being her student, I didn't know that she was terminally ill. And the year after she died, in her will, she had asked that they close down the school because she didn't want it to continue after she transitioned. So that was the Gloria part. And then the Eve is actually named after my paternal aunt, Evelyn Cooper. And she was a singer and a musician. And I spent a lot of time with her growing up on weekends. So my mom worked on weekends. I go to grandma's house. My aunt Evelyn was there. And she too was terminally ill with cancer. I didn't know that as a child. And she was in a program, I can't remember the hospital that she was in, but they had a music therapy program. So I remember on weekends, a pianist would come by the house. They had pushed her piano right by her bedroom door because she couldn't walk at that point. Like maybe 6 to 8 years old. So she was in the bed, but this is something that they provided to keep her spirits up. So she would, she's a classical vocalist and she sang music. She was a beautiful woman. I mean, just elegant and so considerate and compassionate. And, she had this piano, and I remember trying to bang on it as any child would. And she would say, you can play the piano, but make sure you play it correctly. You play one note at a time. So she told my mom, I think you should get her piano lessons. My mom did. And nonetheless, she did transition by the time I was 8 years old. And she left me the piano in her will with all of her music. And I still have the piano to this day. And I cherish it like no other. Um, so when I was creating my nonprofit, the Gloria E Performing Arts Foundation, and also I have a for-profit called the Gloria E School of the Arts, I wanted to, I'm not moved by ego. I've done a lot, but I didn't feel like I needed to have an organization named after me. I don't think I had an impact that tremendous at that time.
Mhm.
I was younger when I started the business, and I wanted to do something that had significant meaning. And I wanted to put these two women together because they had a tremendous impact on my life as an artist. And they both, as I mentioned, transitioned from cancer.
Mm.
So I wanted to have that way to honor their legacy and let their name be spoken for as long as Gloria E was in existence, where, paying homage to their name and memory.
No, that's so heartwarming, and that's such a blessing that you had that influence in your life
Yes.
that has helped you and assisted you to reach a bigger platform. And it makes it sound like it gives you a, what is it that we like to say, it gives you something bigger than yourself.
Yes.
Yeah.
No one is bigger than the mission,
Yeah.
not even me. So whatever the mission is, whatever my purpose is on my journey, I'm driven by purpose. I say that all the time. It's my
Mhm.
quote. I say all the time, and I'm doing things on purpose. So yeah,
Wow,
yeah.
that is amazing. It's so
Mhm.
amazing. And that was my next question is, what is the mission of your awesome company?
So the mission of the Gloria E Performing Arts Foundation is to provide access to the arts and to engage the community in arts education. So we primarily serve I don't like the word minority, but I'll just
Mhm.
say a Black, brown community primarily. But we do have other cultures present in our programming. And one thing I noticed, I'm originally from Queens. And since I started working in the business professionally at the age of 4, I spent a tremendous amount of time in the city training and working with some of the industry's best. And I mean, household names, and I learned a lot. When I came to Long Island, just my general observation. So this isn't to take away from any art organizations that existed. I just felt that more could have been done. And I
Mm.
think that I wanted to bring that professional experience from New York City and those type of educators and expectations to Long Island. So
Mm.
it was really to engage them in cultural arts. The thing that makes Black dance schools a Black dance schools is typically we offer African dance. And I found that there weren't many African dance programs out here, and that were teaching the traditions that I learned. There's a protocol, there's a consideration, that should be made in this dance style. So, it is technical, it's fun,
Mhm.
but there's a way.
Wow, that is so amazing because you're giving um, children and people a chance that otherwise they wouldn't have, and opportunities that they wouldn't have at all in their community.
Yes.
Oh, that is such a blessing. Um, how does it feel to have a career that you are absolutely in love with, a business that you're absolutely in love with? Because so many people, they're trying to get that feeling. You know how, the whole thing now is finding your passion and finding what you love and making it a business. And you are there. You have
Yeah.
made it to that place that so many are running to get to. How does that feel? I want to know that emotion that you're
I
feeling
just
right
got
now.
goosebumps. Like, I'm not even lying to you. I
Oh,
just got goosebumps because it is a tremendous feeling. It's amazing. I have to say this is that there are so many amazing people in my life. Like, I named the school Gloria Eve,
mhm.
and my mom is like amazing.
Wow.
My dad is amazing. My grandparents are amazing, and one thing that I can say is that they took me seriously from the beginning. They never they never tried to talk me out of what I loved.
Mm.
And I think that's the reason why I'm where I am right now. I was about 3 years old, and I was harassing my mom. People say, "Why'd your mom get you into being an artist and working?" And like, I was like, "No, no, no, no. She didn't get me into it. I harassed her to the point that she started harassing my grandmother. And my grandmother was a cosmetologist on Fifth Avenue, and one of her clients was like Susan Lucci. I don't know if you remember from like All My Children and all that. I believe it.
Yes,
Don't
yes.
quote me if I'm wrong. But so she just said, listen, my granddaughter wants to be on television. Like, what do we do? So she told her, like, there's a magazine backstage, blah, blah, blah. So I got a manager by the time I was 4, and then agents,
Wow.
and moved on. My parents, I'm going to be honest with you, I didn't realize how lucky I was until very recently. And when I became an educator of my business, and I would see some of my students that I'd be like, you really should, like, if you can do X, Y, and Z, you have something special, like go a little further. And then some parents would be like, well, I don't want her to major in dance, or I don't want her to major in theater. I don't want to be a struggling artist. I
Mm.
don't want. And it's never really about what the students want. It's never
Mm.
really about what their heart is dragging them. And they push them to major in things like business or nursing. And there's nothing wrong with that.
Right.
My mom always told me, and some people can disagree these days, you know, Mish, do follow your heart and your passion, work really hard, but you always have a backup plan. She
Yeah.
always told me that. Sometimes like, no, there is no backup plan. This is the plan. I'm like, yeah, but but you know what I'm saying? Like my backup plan is still relative to what I do.
Hmm.
I'm still a creative no matter which avenue I take, so I still feel very fulfilled. But I'm lucky that my parents, even my dad, like picked me up from school, and I had natural hair. It was, you have an audition today, and he's picked me up early, and he's in the car trying to put it into a ponytail.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
That's,
and okay, did you go over your line? So I've always had such a tremendous support system where they're like, they just let me be. And I never realized that, like I said, until maybe in the last couple of years. I'm like, thank you for letting me be
mhm.
and giving me the guidance and trusting me to do the right things. Because even after I opened my business, I think I was in I want to say something like my 12th year of business. And then I went back to grad school
Mhm.
to earn my degree in arts administration. And everyone's
Mm.
like, well, you have a business already and you do it. Why would you go? I'm like, because we don't know what may happen in the future. And as I
Right.
have experience, but then I have the masters to say, I have also, you can basically quantify
Mhm.
what my knowledge is and also my business practices. So that's what my mom taught me. So it's like, you can go ahead and sing, dance, act, run your business all you want. But, if you can figure out a career that still aligns with your passion. And
Yeah.
that is what I try to teach my students. And I try to tell my parents, I'm just like, listen, well, if they want to be an actor, they can still, there's a new major called arts administration. They can do undergrad. And
Mm.
then that way they can get a really decent paying job. You have arts administrators that are making upwards of 300K a year.
Oh wow, that's awesome. I didn't even know that.
Yeah, like executive directors of arts organizations, the large, you know what I mean? That's what I'm saying. Like, you don't
Hmm.
know, but it's happening. So you can still fulfill yourself and still be around it. You get an injury, you can't tour anymore. You can still be on tour without being on tour.
So that is so amazing. It's so amazing that you, at that early age, it's like you knew what you wanted. Because
Yeah,
usually around 3, 4, a lot of times it takes people to their early 20s just to figure out what they want. But you knew at that early age, and
I
then had that
did.
support. Oh my gosh.
And then I'm still as excited today as I was then about it. And I have to just say that's just all spirit. Like, that is just all spirit and knowing yourself. And that's why, like, even now I tell them, I'm like, no, I know who I am. Like, I've
Yeah.
always known who I am. And understand this, I've tried to like veer off, like, you get a little discouraged, you're like, I might do something different. Always comes right back to being a creative. Always comes right back to it. So I'm like, all right, I'm just gonna stay put. I'm just
Yeah.
gonna
Yeah. Because the heart wants what the heart wants.
Yes.
And, to go back to what you were saying about, you got some parents, it's like, I don't want them to be a starving artist. You need to go ahead and get that doctorate. You need to go ahead and get this master's. And it
Right.
seems like even then, because as we see today, you have people leaving their corporate job to go veer into that job that their passion is. So instead of having that corporate job, they're now a painter.
Yes.
They're now teaching kids how to play piano or whatever their passion
Yeah.
is. So because the heart wants what the heart wants. No
Yeah.
matter what you just veer off and do, you're going to go back to
Yeah.
what you're passionate about.
Yeah. It's about living,
Yeah.
like I think that all of us have been in a point in life where we've been existing.
Mm.
And that's not what this experience on earth is supposed to be. It's life is tough enough, whether even when you're in your passion, life
Mm.
is tough enough. So let's look at the bright, let's celebrate that. And I think that's one of the great things I've noticed. One of the great things that happened with the pandemic is people start to take a little bit like a step back and say, am I happy? Like, what
Right.
makes me happy? What do I want to do? My time is valuable. I want to travel. I want to spend time with my loved ones. And they've made these hard shifts. And I too have made that hard shift to say, you're killing yourself at work where you can spend more time with your loved ones because life is short.
Yes, it is. It is. And if you don't want to be behind that desk,
Right.
get out from behind the desk and
Yes.
go do what you love.
Yes.
That is so inspirational. It really is. So, when you decided that you were going to open Gloria Eve, what was the first thing that you did as far as the business aspect of it?
So I didn't. This is going to sound funny, right? But I didn't plan to open Gloria Eve. Like it was not like this big plan. So I was approached by the village that I live in. I had in the summer before summer of 2020, 2021, 2001, the summer of 2001, I was approached by the village to organize a step program. I'm in a sorority. Like, someone found, oh, you step. Would you like to teach the girls
Oh,
how to step?
wow.
So I was like, sure. I'm a member of Sigma Gamma Rho Sorority Incorporated, by the way.
All right.
So I was like, sure. And I had an amazing time. And the girls had an amazing time. And they were like, oh, we want to start a dance program. Would you be interested in helping us organize the dance program? I was like, sure. I have tons of dancer friends. I can tell you what you need and blah, blah. So it was really supposed to be like a village community program.
Mhm.
So I put it together, create the schedules. I told the director of Parks and Recreations what we needed for the program, equipment wise. We're ready to go. 9/11 happens.
Mm.
And the director of Parks and Recreation was a fire chief. I think he still is a fire chief. And of course, they were pulling any available engine to the World Trade Center. And we were supposed to start the program, I think like the 27th of September, something like that. I could not get in contact with him for several weeks, for like, well, I would say so a couple of weeks.
Mhm.
I just couldn't get him on the phone. They were like, he's not here. He was, of course, in the city. And then finally, I'm like, I just want to see, like, are we okay? We're going to continue with the program. He's like, honestly, like, I didn't order the things. I can't do it. Blah, blah, blah. And I was like, oh my gosh. He's like, well, if you want to do it, like, you can do it. We just can't post it here. We just blah, blah. And I was like, oh man. So
Wow.
all the girls I had met in the summer and all the girls that had come, I was hosting registration in the community center. And I just felt bad. And I was like, no, like, I had so much fun with them. And okay. So I found a local Boys and Girls Club.
Mhm.
And they were in the church basement, and we're like, all right, well, we're gonna just go for it.
Yeah.
So I just went for it. And after the first year, we doubled enrollment. After the second year, we doubled again. And then it was like,
Wow.
now we need our own place. And then we opened up. It was just like I said, that's why it's what's for you is for you.
Yeah.
And you just follow your path and your journey. So that's pretty much how the business was created. And I learned a lot. I learned a lot the hard way. Of course, I was very green because I wasn't planning on creating a business to make money. I was filling a need and being moved by passion. So my number one thing that I wanted to do was try to get the best teachers in and make sure that it was a warm environment,
Mhm.
for students. It was primarily children at the time, children and teens, and it was really all about giving them the best creative arts experience. And that's all I was focused on in the beginning. Now, if you ask me years later what I shifted to, then I, of course, start to shift my lesson plans and
Mhm.
plans a little differently. But that was after it started, again, it was a need, it was a passion. I want to do it. Let's do it.
And that's how I believe the best businesses are made. When the main focus isn't money, it's focused on serving and
Yes.
giving and solving an issue, solving a problem. That's the best businesses. And then, because once you do that and you serve and you accomplish those goals on helping people, the money will come later. The
Right.
money, you don't even
Right.
have to worry about the money.
Listen, the money definitely, especially when you're driven by passion.
Hmm.
Um, I didn't pay myself for several years.
Wow.
I would say it probably was at least 6 years of being
Mm.
in business that I did not take a paycheck. So I was doing other things on the side, and it was a little difficult, but making sure that my team was comfortable as they could be with where the budget was. It was
Mhm.
relative to what we were bringing at the time, but I put myself last because I was
Wow.
building something.
Wow, that's so commendable. It really is. Because I know, because while you're, and even still now, while you're building your business, and you have Gloria Eve, you're still doing your own endeavors as far as acting, and singing and things like that. So tell us about that. How is that going, and what projects, do you
Okay.
have going on?
Yeah, so I've always loved being an artist, and then like Gloria, you just kind of took over, right?
Hmm.
Um, it was because during the pandemic, like I always wanted to get back into acting, but I never made the time to expand the structure of the business so that way I could step away a little bit. Gloria
Hmm.
Eve is an adult. It's an adult or someone adult. Someone was like, "Why do you say adult?" I'm like, "Well, I'm from New York, so we
I
say
say
adult."
adult, and I'm in Tennessee.
Oh, right. It depends on where you're from. But it's an adult. And
Mhm.
what it needs is it just needs a solid team. Like it's my baby. So I'm always gonna be mama bear. But
Right.
at the same time, it's important that we're talking about passion that I pick up where I left off. So because of the pandemic, I pulled out my keyboard, and I started to write music again, and I had met some people, maybe a year or two before the pandemic, and this is just all God, right? And I was just like, hey, I think I want to do music, and I had said I'm not doing music anymore. I was signed a production deal, and it's like, oh my gosh, like I think that's what I want to do. So I started writing again. And I'm actually working on a project right now. I'm hoping to have something released this summer. But I'm working on an album. I don't want to say an album, but I definitely have enough for an album at this point that I'm in love with, and I'm writing and arranging most of the songs. Working with an amazing producer right now, and we're creating our own sound. So that's something I'm working on right now, and then I'm actually in the middle of filming a feature film. It's a sequel to a film called Dope Fiend that was released in 2017. It's
Mhm.
currently available on Amazon Prime. It was on several streaming apps prior, but it's on Amazon Prime now as well as Tubi, and we're filming the sequel called Dope King. And that's super exciting. One of the reasons why I'm excited about this one is because my character um, has been stretched, and I love a challenge. I feel like this character allows to show my range.
Mhm.
And sometimes you get a character where, I'm not saying anything is easy, but it's pretty much here. This character needs a lot of range.
Okay.
And I'm really excited about that. I'm surrounded by an amazingly talented um, cast. The writer director, his name is Ron Elliott, and we've
Mhm.
done several projects together. So that's where I am with that. I also dance with a company and West African dance company I've been a part of for some time now, and we're actually going to be headlining Dance Africa, which is at BAM, Brooklyn Academy of Music. So we're doing that Memorial Weekend, and it's a humongous event that I'm excited about. What
Wow.
else do I do? I mean, I'm always creating, so I have some other creative projects and ideas I've come up with. But yeah, I'm just looking to do what makes me happy.
That is so exciting. And then when you said dope fiend, I was like, wait a minute. I've seen that somewhere
You
because
said?
I watch
Yeah,
Amazon Prime all the time. So now I'm like, okay, I'm gonna have to, you know how
go
you
back.
click through and you see the titles and all?
Yeah,
Yes, I'm gonna have to go back and
yeah.
watch. So you're
You're,
in, so you're not in the first one, but you're in the
I am.
second. Oh, you
I
are in the first one.
I'm in
Okay.
the first one. It's
All
the
right.
same.
So I'm
Yeah,
gonna make
same
my
character.
husband and my kids were all gonna watch because I'm gonna say, guess what? Guess who I interviewed?
How? Wait. Only if the
Her.
kids are like over 18, because the language could be.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, I do have some older. I have a 19-year-old that can
Oh,
watch
okay. Okay.
that.
Yeah, they can watch it.
He can
But
watch it. The other ones can't.
yeah.
But
Yes,
that
I
is
was.
so
Yeah, I was.
amazing.
I was in the first one, and it was a great experience. My character, it's the same character, of course,
Hmm.
but like I said, the second one is. I take like I said, more range, and I was throughout the film too, so you'll see me
Okay.
several times in there.
That is so exciting. I mean, I just feel so, oh, you're just so blessed. And I'm
Thank
just so
you.
happy to hear someone that is living their dreams, doing
Hmm.
everything. I mean, to go from this is what you wanted to do when you're 3 and 4 years old and you're doing it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, and it's almost like in where I am now, like sometimes I get like I'm not frustrated, but I had a tremendous career as a child, a
Mhm,
tremendous career to the point that that's one of the reasons why I stopped acting. I was tired. By the
mm,
time I was 18, I was like, I've been working since I was 4, like paying taxes, collecting checks. And I just wanted to have a normal childhood.
mhm.
And at that time, I didn't take anything for granted, but it was just like, oh, okay, like I booked this, that's cool. Like I'm working with so and so, that's awesome. And
Yeah.
but now I look back like that was such a blessing. Like take me,
Yeah.
like I want to kind of, take it from there and go further.
Wow. Yeah. So, how do you keep yourself motivated throughout this journey? Because, being an entrepreneur and it can get frustrating, like you said,
Yeah.
sometimes. So how do you keep that motivation going? What do you tell yourself? What do you do?
I'm a spiritual being. Um, I've learned the hard way that sometimes it's best when you sit still.
Mhm.
Sometimes when things are chaotic around us, and being superwoman and trying to fix everything, it may not be the right approach.
Mm.
So I've learned that when you're not sure what to do, if you're feeling a way, that it's best to sit still. I meditate, I pray, and sometimes things just happen and manifest, or sometimes I receive the idea, and I don't take credit for it. Like, oh, I'm a genius. No,
Mhm.
I really believe that's from a higher power, and it just takes discipline to tap into that and
Yeah.
patience, to remove the fear, to remove the anxiety, and it's okay to take that time and create a space of solitude. Like it's okay for it to be quiet, and it's okay for you to be alone, because that's usually when you hear the best. Because my business has been through a recession and a pandemic,
Mhm.
and of course the latter has been the most devastating, especially to my industry,
Mhm.
especially to my colleagues and other businesses that they just couldn't. How do you tell someone, yeah, you got to stay closed for 8 months, but you still have
Mm.
bills?
Yeah.
People don't want to come back. They're afraid to be around each other. Like how? That's like, these our industry, the performing arts industry, especially on a level like mine, not like these huge arts organizations that
Mhm.
receiving you know exceptional funding. We don't get rich, and that's what people don't realize. Like, you don't get rich from running an arts organization. It just doesn't happen
Mhm.
that way. So you don't necessarily have, like I said, again, on my level.
Mhm.
Whoops. God,
It's okay. It just the
I'm
phone just said boop.
I'm about to adjust. Yeah, hold on 1 second. There we go. It
It
was
is
like, what?
totally fine.
Okay, come on, behave yourself. That was crazy. I'm like, how did that happen? How are we?
It's okay. It
Yeah.
happens. I've had a way a lot more happen while I'm videotaping
Right.
people. And of course, I can cut that out of the audio. So,
Okay.
yeah.
It's like, boop, somebody smacked it. Yeah. So, I mean, it just takes, like I said, just take a beat, take a breath, and,
Hmm.
and go back to your why.
Yes.
And it goes back to purpose and passion. Like, if you go back to purpose and passion, I think that you'll feel, I don't like this, then why are you doing it?
Hmm.
This
Exactly.
doesn't serve me. Why am I here?
Exactly. Yes. And that meditation, and like you said, and just listening. I know there are some times that I'm trying to figure something out, or and then I'm spiritual as well. And there's times that God, I mean, I could just be doing whatever, and then, boop, He just gives me the answer. Like I swear to you, sometimes I feel like it knocks me over, and I'm like, whoa,
Yeah, where did that come from? You're like, I
yes.
can. You're like,
I'm
you're
like,
like,
He just
oh, I'm
told
a
me the
genius. No,
answer.
I'm not a genius.
No,
Mhm.
not at all. Not I'm nowhere close to it. But when you're spiritual and you have that relationship, um, He just leads you to the right place every time.
Mhm.
People might think you're a genius, but no, it's like
Right.
I'm listening to somebody else.
Especially when your heart is pure and your intentions are pure.
Mhm.
So
Exactly, exactly. So, if there was any part of your entrepreneur journey that you could actually just skip over, like there's just one piece that just like, if I could have bypassed that, that would have been great. What would that be for you?
it would have been the part when I thought I could do more by myself. Like, and it wasn't like I don't need to be, the queen and I make this. I didn't need that.
Hmm.
I did what I did and tried to do as much as I could with what I had. Um, if I could skip over that part, I think that my business probably would have been in an even better position it is now,
Hmm.
because I'm only one person, and I think that it's not a matter of me not listening or taking advice. I just didn't know. Again, like,
Hmm.
I was kind of like the first person in my family to like start my own business and work for myself. So I learned everything kind of the hard way.
Hmm.
And that's where I am now, where it's like, hey, I probably just need to pull the team in. Like, maybe I need a business manager here, and then I can stop having to do this, and they could help me. But yeah, I mean, I've gone like sometimes like a day or two without sleeping,
Wow.
because something like chaotic happened. We had a production, and we got to get this done, and but that probably, it didn't serve me in the long run. I think it created character, and
Yeah.
it helped me understand what I don't want. But like I said, if I could skip over that, if I just knew, like, hey, get you a solid team, and then that
Hmm.
way you can take this train, 100 miles an hour faster down the track, you can get further quicker,
Wow.
then I would have done that.
That is a that is so it's so good to know, because I'm seeing that as the research that I'm doing, and I read a lot of books about business and entrepreneurship, and then my guests that I've interviewed, that is one of the biggest things that everyone talks about is learning how to delegate, and
Yes.
not taking your whole business on yourself, because you will have sleepless nights and you're
Yeah.
stressed out and you don't see your family and you're not
Yeah.
eating well, and before you know it, you're crashing, you're burning, and that doesn't
Burnt
help your business.
out.
Yes, like you're a match. You're on
Yeah.
fire.
Yes.
The building is burning.
Yes.
But that is one of the common themes that I'm seeing, that everyone is saying. Don't do all of it by yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. It's hard.
definitely.
And then, another thing that like entrepreneurs don't talk about a lot is that you have situations where you are pulling a team together, and you finally relinquish, I don't want to say relinquish some control, but you trust, and
Mm,
then that trust is betrayed, and
mm,
it catapults you back and like, see, now this is why I have to do it, because I've been betrayed in some way. And I remember when it happened within my own businesses, and I felt like, you take everything personal, like maybe I did something wrong, or maybe I didn't, like, I was blinded by, by this person's,
mhm.
representative in my face. And then you talk to other entrepreneurs, it's a common theme.
Yeah, it is. And it's so unfortunate because, like you said, then it makes you go back and say, well, never mind. I can't trust anyone. So I'll just do it
Right.
all myself because one person burnt you
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, that totally sucks. But
Mhm.
so how can the listeners connect with you on social media?
Yes. Okay. So my Instagram page is at the Meesha Millington, but it's really just THE,
Mm-hmm.
Meesha Millington.
Okay.
And then for my organization, it's at Gloria Eve Arts.
That is so awesome. So do you I know you're in the middle of I know you got auditions and stuff going on. Do you have a few minutes to play the this or that game? I always close the show
Okay.
with playing this or that, or would you rather? You know, it's just a way for the listeners to
Sure.
get to know you more. And it's just something, a fun way to end the show. And I don't know, everybody loves it. So,
Okay. I'm ready. I'm ready.
so I'll just pull out a few and let's see. Oh, these are deep. I have like some fun questions and deep questions and different type, and I just pushed it. I'm like, oh, these are deep ones. Okay, well here's this one's kind of deep. Would you rather lose your sight or your memories? Ooh, that's a little deep.
I would rather you lose my sight.
That is a really deep one.
Yeah, and it was deep, but through spirituality, they say if you really want to see, close your eyes.
I love that.
So that's why I would rather keep my memories and when I want to see, I can close my eyes. If I want to basically take in things,
Mm-hmm.
you know, because sometimes the eyes can fool you.
Oh yes, that is true. Especially when you get on social media and everybody don't look like the way they everybody's photoshopped, you know.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
Oh my goodness. What about would you rather be chronically underdressed or overdressed?
Oh man. Okay, wait. So this is I have to ask, do I have to shop for myself? Because I hate shopping. So I have no
Do
problem.
you?
I don't like shopping.
That's interesting.
So like I love nice things, but I hate
Yeah.
shopping. So I would be chronically overdressed as long as I don't have to go shopping.
That is crazy. So what do you do? Do you do online shopping or
I
does someone shop for you?
I do a little bit. Hold on, sorry.
Okay.
I don't know what just happened. All right, there you go. I lost you completely.
Yeah, the phone.
Well, clearly I need to go shopping for a new phone holder, but
It's so
but
funny.
I do a little bit of both online and in store. But my mom loves to shop. She called me the other day. She's like, "What?" My parents moved back to Jamaica, so they're not
Oh
in the country.
wow.
Yeah, that's where I'm first generation American. So they're back there. She's like, "Hey, Mush, what are you doing shopping?" I said, "Okay, stop. Let's think about who you're talking to." She said, "Oh, that's right." She said, you hate shopping." I'm like, she's like, "I don't know where you get it from." My mom loves to shop. My grandmother loved to shop even more than my mom.
Wow.
So I shop when I need things.
Mm,
So something is coming up, I'm like, let me go shopping for this real quick. Or I'll order online if I have time. But I'm not
mhm.
like oh, it's Saturday, let's just go shopping because I just want to pick things up.
When you say it that way, oh, I just want to pick things up.
No,
Yeah,
some people like my
yeah.
mom is that. She just goes in, like I walk in the store, I do this. No,
That's
listen
what I do
here.
too.
Yeah, see?
I
See?
do that. If I don't see something I want, I'm like, if
My
nothing
mom, this is
nothing
my
jumps
mom.
out at me. I don't buy anything.
She's on the rack.
She's
Like
looking through.
she goes, her store was Lord and Taylor
Uh huh.
on the rack.
Wow,
Hmm.
wow, that is so funny. We'll do just one more because I do not want to hold you up.
Oh yeah.
Would you rather have Beyonce's talent or Jay Z's business sense? That's a good one.
I can't have both. But
No.
see, wait a minute, wait a minute. So okay, I'm going to pick Beyonce. And the reason why is because Beyonce is a tremendous talent, but
Hmm.
she's a businesswoman. Because what happens is that if you watch her documentaries, she's involved in every step. of her stage performance. Like,
Mm-hmm.
that's not the lighting I asked for. And like, it takes someone that knows what they want, because Beyonce is a brand. So she's a
Yeah.
talent, but she's a brand. So even though, she doesn't have, I don't know, like, I'm sorry, what's Rihanna's company? Savage Fenty.
Yeah.
Like, she doesn't have a business like that we could say, oh, this is Beyonce's company. She is managing her career.
Yeah.
And even with her visual, that for her visual albums that she's been doing most recently.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I would say Beyonce. She is a tremendous talent, and she is a
Man,
businesswoman.
she is. Have you seen her in concert? Just wondering. I haven't.
I have
I
not.
need to.
I
That
have,
is like I tell my kids before the day I die, I'm going to see Beyonce
yes.
in
I've seen like
concert.
the specials they have online.
Uh-huh.
We see on, but I think she's amazing.
Yeah.
She's
She
definitely amazing.
she is. She is. Well, thank you so much for being on your small business podcast.
Thank
We
you.
definitely
This
have
was
to have you.
fun.
Yes, I'm so glad you had fun. I get so excited. That gives me chills when people tell me, "Oh, that was great," or
Yes.
it was fun. Because a lot of times, some of my guests, they'll tell me, I'm nervous. I'm like, "Oh, this is gonna be fun. Don't be
Yeah.
nervous. It's just like a conversation."
Yeah.
And then at the end, they're like, "That was fun. We can do it again." I'm like,
Yeah.
"Sure." Yeah, thank you. And we
Yes.
definitely have to have you back on the show. We
Yes.
definitely do.
Maybe when they're getting ready to do the release for Dope King, because
Yeah,
we've been getting some press with Deadline, and I'm excited about it.
that would be great. And we can make it a topic as far as, for people who want to pursue that kind of career, what goes into like
Yeah.
auditions and the act. I mean, everything. There's a lot that
Yeah,
goes
it
into
is.
that
I
and the
got
preparation.
Yeah, you see, this is like the pandemic. You have to have a backdrop, and I have two box lights here. Like you just have to be prepared. Yeah.
Yes, yes, definitely. So we definitely can make a few more shows. But thank
Okay.
you, and you enjoy the rest of your day. And I'm just
Thank
so
you.
excited for your success. It is so
Thank you
awesome.
so much for having me. You're amazing.
Thank you, and you are too. So we will see you again.
Yes.